And this is something that we always talk about doing, but seldom do as black folks, and that is support our black businesses. And in order for us to really achieve, our dollars really have to turn over multiple times within the community. You know, in the Jewish community, it turns over somewhere between 18 and 19 times before it leaves their community. In the Asian community, it turns about 8 to 10 times. You know how long it takes for a dollar to leave our community? About 6 hours, 6 to 9 hours. We go, we cash our check, we pay our bills at a check cashing place. They take money, we buy a little food, and then we take our kids to the Nike store. And that's the rest of our money, and it's all gone. How do we change that mentality? I think in large measure we do it by creating more of our businesses so that there are more opportunities for our folks to do business with each other. I'm from St. Louis. Like I said in the video, my dad worked at the post office, but we weren't rich, we weren't poor, but we never had any money. Anybody like that around here? And you know, the other thing is interesting is a lot of you never heard of the Roberts brothers out of St. Louis. I understand that. That's largely because rich people scream, but wealthy people whisper. And what we have to do is understand the value of being more wealthy than rich. You know, we see our brothers and sisters who've made it in certain industries. Of course, they only put us in certain industries to make big money, as long as we're entertaining white folks. You know, at that point, you could be bling bling all day long. And I've seen too many people with bling in their ears, their nose, around their toes that don't have 25 cents in their pocket. You know, we have to understand the value of sustainable wealth, generational. When we're born, we start at zero. When they're born, they're at about 60% already. I was driving around just the other day and somebody said, man, look, all these folks in cars, all this traffic, and look at all these buildings. Who owns that? And how did they get it? Well, after we gave them over 400 years of free labor, they made enough money to build Wall Street, to build the industrial complex, and it all came off of free slave labor out of the South. Now, unfortunately, our mentality continues to allow us to be nothing much more than a slave. And you might have a big corporate job, but guess what? You're only a paycheck away from poverty. So when I finished law school, I moved 2 blocks from the projects. I did that to ultimately run for political office. And within 2 years, I was elected to our city council in my 20s, youngest member at that time. 2 years later, my brother finished school and he joined me on the Board of Aldermen as well. Now, I'll also say the same week that I graduated from law school, my brother graduated from college and my mother graduated from college. So she wasn't gonna sit back and not let her sons only get out here too far without being right there as well. But that's tenacity, isn't it? And we know that our women have a great deal of tenacity and have always held us together. And really the leadership should come, you know, from our mother's side of our family, because if you really look at history, or if they were to right now do a DNA test on you, they really are looking at your maternal side of the family to determine where in Africa we are from. I'm part of the FraserNet group, and this next year they're going to tell me from whence I've come, which nation, and it's probably going to be multiple nations, but we'll see. But anybody know George Fraser? Some of y'all know George. Y'all know what George looks like, right? Yeah. Okay. For those who don't know, George is a lot lighter than me, and I'm pretty light. And I said, listen, if George can find that he's from the Cameroon, then don't worry about me. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to find something. Y'all can go on and track me down. It'll be cool, you know. But, you know, I mention Africa a lot because the origin of the human comes from Africa. At least that's the oldest known Homo sapien that's been found. And we are products of our ancestors, right? We are products of millions of people who copulated to create you. But what was the common strand that took place in that series from our origin? And that is our DNA. Our DNA mutated, it changed, it did a lot of things, but it's still a core base of DNA. Now, why do I get down with the science side of things? For two reasons. One, if you're religious, you can presume that the origin that created you was God, and therefore God's DNA is within you. And if that's the case, that means your spirituality comes from within and not some cloud out here. And so your responsibility to your fellow human is from within and not just symbolically from without or outside. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what is this DNA that's inside of us. I come at business from a whole different perspective on things. I look at it this way. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be in the business, then you will usually have an empirical training, which means school, church, friends, books, etc., empirical knowledge. But what really sets us apart from that is our instinct, our gut, our ability to determine by feeling what is right for me to do. And we have to learn to get more in touch, in my opinion, with that instinct, and that's your DNA. That's that same DNA that sort of tells you when you're going down a dark street, hey, I need to get off this street and go over here, because danger's, I don't know where it is, I don't see it, but I feel it. Let me make the move. Same thing may be true in business, if you want to consider that, to becoming the entrepreneur that's within you. Now, we all have dreams, right? And what is the first thing we have to do if we have a dream? Wake up. We got to wake up. And then we have to sit up, and then we have to stand up. And you and I know that there's going to be, I have an Aunt Sadie who will say, your Uncle Tyrone tried to go into business, this business thing, maybe you need to get a job. Well, Aunt Sadie and those of us in our families who will slow us down from taking that leap of faith into business, sometimes we have to wake up, sit up, stand up, and unfortunately we have to tell them to shut up and get out of our way. Because that is how you're going to make that big leap.